Hey everyone, how you doing? Hopefully having a fantastic day or night or whenever you're watching or listening to this, whether you're watching on the video or if you're listening from the podcast. I did want to go ahead and do this video. I actually did a longer version I had recorded, but I felt like it was a little too long-winded. It wasn't really quite to the point, so I did write down some notes to condense it, and hopefully this is not going to be a 25-minute video, but rather like an 8 to 10-minute video. Now, if you've been on social media, whether it's on TikTok, Instagram, etc., you might have seen a lot of people, and this might even be you, saying that the Pokemon hobby has been ruined. And a lot of people have been saying, oh, Logan Paul, Gary Vee, and saying all these people like they ruined the hobby. And quite frankly, I have to disagree. Now, I don't think that anyone really can ruin a hobby for you. If it's something that you actually enjoy, then I don't think anyone else's actions can dictate your enjoyment in that hobby. I mean, that's not to say that, scalping and clearing shelves doesn't make things harder. Yeah, that definitely makes things more challenging. But I don't think that someone can actually take away that enjoyment from you. That's more of an internal thing. But that's a totally different video, totally different topic. That's not really what I want to get into today. But more addressing the fact that so many people keep saying, oh, the hobby's ruined, it's terrible, it's not what it used to be, etc. And I get it, I totally do get it. But for me, and maybe it's just because I lean more optimistic, I'm just so optimistic about Pokemon. Like even right now, with shelves not being as stocked as they used to be, because I remember just 4 or 5 months ago being able to walk into Walmart and grab some Cosmic Eclipse booster packs, which is might be out of print. I don't know what's going on there, but in any case, uh, you know I think I just want to address a few things, and I guess say why I'm optimistic about the future, and hopefully share that perspective, which maybe might help some of you all, especially those who are newer in the hobby. Why I just think that literally the best is yet to come. Like we've had some great stuff in Pokemon over the last 25 years. I still think that the best is yet to come. But let's address real quick about this whole scalping thing. I understand that scalping sucks. And in the short term, yeah, it really makes things challenging. Like it really is now, it's not fun because I've done this to go out for, 3, 4 hours and come back home with like a single booster pack or with like one product or even nothing. And so I understand that in the short term, yes, that sucks. But in the long term, I actually think this is a good thing. And this is why. Because here's the thing, when let's say whatever you want to call them, scalpers, flippers, I have no hate towards them. I'm not going to say they suck or anything like that. So I'm just going to say someone who scalps, they go in, they clear the shelves. Well, when they're clearing the shelves, what are they doing? They're buying the product. Okay, so if I'm a business and someone keeps buying my product, that means I have to keep making it because I'm making money as a business. And so, like, as long story short, the fact that they are actually coming in and buying all the product means that Pokemon as a company is actually getting more revenue. They're getting more money than they normally do in a shorter amount of time. And so, as a business, Pokemon now has more revenue to work with in a shorter amount of time to then start producing more things that their fans can enjoy. That includes, making more cards, which they have been doing already. We know they sent out that notification saying that, we're working on producing more cards. It's because they have that revenue that they're even able to do that in the first place. And so you need that revenue as a business in order to produce all these different items. And again, that goes back to cards, that goes to plushies, that goes into video games, you name it. Pokemon needs revenue to create that. And I know there are some people, they say, well, Pokemon, they're just in it for the money. They just want to, they're just a business. And yes, they are a business. They have to pay their employees. They have to, when you're a business, cash is oxygen. No cash, no oxygen, you die. And so no matter how much you love Pokemon, just because you love it, your just love for it does not sustain the business. It actually has to, have money in order to continue to run. And so again, short term, yeah, scalping sucks. Long term, I think it's a good thing because again, they're getting more money quicker, which allows them to then produce more cards, which, as we've seen, as I mentioned, we're starting to actually see more product on shelves, with battle styles and shining legends, hidden fates, gets me confused sometimes, but shining fates, there is more product available. Now, again, I know it's still hard to get, but I've been noticing very, very much, especially because I'm in a group where we share. Hey, there's some cards here, there's some cards there, and I just keep seeing almost daily, like people saying, "Hey, there's battle styles here. There's shining fates here. Like it's coming. Like there's the next, I guess, few waves of cards. More stock is coming." And so that's very apparent, that Pokemon's been able to do that only because they've been receiving revenue in the first place. So hopefully that makes sense. Scalping, again, I don't love it. I don't like to see it. But in the long term, it allows Pokemon to actually have more money to produce more stuff, including some things that I'm going to mention right now. So again, looking down my notes. Oh yeah, I did want to mention this real quick. So actually, no, I'll get back to that. I'll come back to this. But as far as Pokemon having more revenue to do more things, something that I'm really excited about, and to be honest, I don't have any kind of connection to Pokemon. I don't have any kind of insider tips or anything like that. This is more based on intuition. But if you think back to Pokemon Go really was and still is the best AR game ever made. Like I don't even know any other AR games. Like Pokemon Go, like just literally took the world by storm. You still have people playing it daily. Like I don't know if it's really competitively, but just people throughout the world are playing Pokemon Go, and there are still new people getting into it. And it was just so revolutionary, so to speak, and got more people back into the hobby. But what I'm trying to get at is that there has not been a single company to have that kind of impact or to launch that kind of game the way that Pokemon did it. And so that gets me thinking that, and again, this might not be for 5 years, 10 years, I don't know. But that gets me thinking that right now, Pokemon is currently working on, and it might be in like the little seed stages, but they're working on some kind of Pokemon VR game. Now, again, I'd be very surprised if they weren't, but considering how early they are with the AR, with Pokemon Go, and just again, they have more revenue, they have more, they really are thinking about how to do things for their fans. I would be very surprised if we did not see some kind of Pokemon VR game in the next 10 years, 15. And again, I don't know when it's going to be. It could be 25 years. But again, that gets me super excited about the future of Pokemon because once that drops, oh my gosh. Like, I might have to quit whatever else I'm doing and just try to become a Pokemon, whatever this is, VR master. Because that is something that is going to be coming. VR is coming. VR already exists. And so it makes total sense to me that Pokemon is going to be working on something and it's going to be really good. And I'm just excited about that. Excited about other emerging technologies. I'm not super knowledgeable on this, and so but NFTs, that whole technology, that whole thing when it comes to collectibles and Pokemon, that gets me kind of excited. Just kind of thinking what might happen there. I think there's something good happening there. And then going back to what I was saying before, or what I was going to mention is that guys, just the artwork of these cards, and I had to just take a step back real quick because when it comes to the hobby, I'm talking mostly about the cards. I mean, I've talked a little about VR games and whatnot, but I focus mostly on the cards. I think we forget that there's a whole nother there's so many other sectors to Pokemon. There's the anime, there's the actual TCG, like not just collecting, but the actual TCG. There's the video games. There's just so much to Pokemon that even if cards are not available in stores, in my opinion, if you enjoy Pokemon, there's other stuff you can do. Like there's the toys, there's the video games, there's the anime, there's just so many other things you can do. Like I don't get like thinking that the hobby is ruined or thinking that Pokemon is ruined. Like it's not. It is not ruined. But going back to what I was saying before, something I'm also really excited about is just the artwork. If you've seen the artwork, some of the artwork just with battle styles, like some of the stuff that's come out this year, and that will come out this year. We've seen stuff in, I don't remember the Japanese set names, but the ones that recently came out that should be in like Chilling Reign. The artwork that's coming out in Eevee Heroes, like, oh my gosh, like the artwork just keeps getting better. Like there's just some fantastic artwork. There's, you got the Mario Pikachu that came out 5 years ago, and you got like all these other Japanese promo cards that are like fantastic. Like the artwork just keeps getting better. I can't even imagine what it's going to be in, I don't even know, in 10 years, in 5 years. And that's also what I want to point out. When it comes to the hobby, I hope if you're in the hobby that it's something that you want to be in. And I guess let me take a step back again. No one is going to force you to stay in the hobby. Like if you've burnt out, if you're like, you know what, I liked it at first, but it's not for me anymore. No worries, no judgment on my part whatsoever. But if you are someone who does want to stay in the hobby, I don't think you should, let other people's actions dictate, your happiness in the hobby. And I don't think that you should focus on just a small moment. 3 months, 4 months, 6 months of having a hard time finding product, that's frustrating. But understand that's just a moment. That's not the next 5 years. That's not the next 20 years. That is just a moment, and we're going to look back on this and be like, yeah, that was hard, but look at these new cards that we have now. Like it's going to be something that we look back on and talk about. And so I really, I guess, urge and hope that people take a more long-term view, because when just really in life in general, when you take a more long-term view, when you're not just looking at, just this week or just this month or even just this year, like life gets better. Life totally gets better. And so, yeah, I'm excited about whatever future artworks they have, just because they've very proven that they can create literal pieces of art. Like, oh my goodness, some of these full arts that are coming out this year, it's like, oh, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I guess to wrap up, because I don't want this to be a very long video, Pokemon is still super young. Like as a hobby, like you compare it to something like baseball cards, or you compare it to Magic, Pokemon is still so young. And I think sometimes we forget that, because a lot of us, grew up with it. We had it when we were 8 years old, and we might be 38 now, or 30, or however old. And so to us, it's like, 25 years, that's a long time. But as a hobby, and even as a business, that is actually really young. And so I actually think that right now, 2021, maybe even the next 4 years, is like a golden opportunity to actually start in your Pokemon journey, so to speak. Whether that's as a TCG player, whether that's as a content creator, whether that's as just a collector, if you want to invest, whatever it is that you're looking for in Pokemon, I think right now is a golden opportunity, because we're living during a time where you have so much access to the vintage stuff and so much access to this newer, like beautiful modern stuff. And just seeing how Pokemon, again, in my perspective, how Pokemon will continue to grow just makes me really excited that if you were to start right now, like let's say as a content creator, if you want to, start showcasing your collection and maybe teaching people about different things about Pokemon and whatnot, or if you want to be a TCG player and you just want to get started now, I really think that if you start now, considering where Pokemon seems to be going and how much bigger it'll be in 25 years, if for the 50th anniversary, I think if you start now, then you will end up being quote unquote one of the OGs, so to speak. Even though Pokemon's been around for 25 years, I think right now is just a prime time to get started in whatever aspect of Pokemon that you want to do. And so that's really all I got, which as a side note, I didn't mention this in my other video or other recording that I won't drop because it's much longer than this. I honestly think that there is going to be some kind of, and step back real quick, Leonhart, Unlisted Leaf, great guys. Don't personally know them, but from what I do know of them, seem like great guys, not knocking them whatsoever. But just kind of getting back to the whole opportunity thing, and I think we're in a really prime time for that. I really think there is some 6-year-old, or maybe 36-year-old, or maybe even a 50-year-old. I don't know how old they are, but there's going to be someone who's going to become the next top dog, so to speak, if you want to say that. I don't even really like saying that, but someone who's going to have even more awareness in the community than Leonhart and Unlisted Leaf. And they might not roll around for another 10 years. They might not pop for another 15 years. But I really think, again, just going back to that whole, I think it's a prime opportunity for starting. right now is a great time. Again, whether you're a collector, whether you want to play the TCG, which I think the TCG will be bigger in the future, because going back to emerging technology, if you're going to VR, AR, like something that has actually crossed my mind is like, what if they actually did something like? Do you remember if you watched Yu-Gi-Oh, the original? I don't know how it is in like the newer version, but how they would they would duel, and then their monsters would show up as a hologram and whatnot, and they would battle and whatnot. Like, why wouldn't that occur for Pokemon TCG? Again, maybe not 10, maybe not for another 10 years, maybe not for another 25 years. But can you imagine, like, being a player and like having like starting now and knowing the strategy and how to play and whatnot, and then this technology emerges, and maybe it's just for worlds, because that's definitely going to be an expensive technology. But can you imagine like playing and being able to actually battle with your cards, but seeing the Pokemon like right in front of you? Like, oh my gosh, like that just blows my mind that that would even be possible. Which, why wouldn't it be possible? Everything that we have today, this freaking laptop and whatnot in front of me was always, just it was something in someone's imagination, and then they created it. And so I don't see why we couldn't have that in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And so again, if you're a TCG, because TCG, and I'm kind of rambling, and I don't want this video to get much longer, but I know the TCG is one of the smaller sectors, or doesn't get as much love when it comes to Pokemon. But if something like, when and if that happens, like, oh my gosh, that the TCG will explode, because that will make it even more popular. And so again, if you start today, like if today is your first day even learning how to play the TCG, then in 10 years, 15 years, whenever that comes out, like you can be one of the OGs and be able to, compete at that level and show other people and teach other people. And that's it. Okay, I've rambled long enough, but I guess what I'm getting at, I'm super optimistic, super excited for the future of Pokemon. Again, if you've been one of those people who've just been like, Pokemon is ruined and whatnot, I encourage you, highly encourage you. You can do whatever you want, but I highly encourage you to start taking a much longer view of the hobby, much longer view of what could come in the future, and stop focusing on just today. Like, don't focus on just today. Focus on, I shouldn't even say focus on, but also consider the possibilities of tomorrow, because that's when things really start getting exciting. And so that's all I got, guys. So hopefully have a fantastic day, night, whenever you're watching, listening to this. And I love you guys. Take care. Just have a fantastic day. Just I love you guys. Take care.